Good afternoon. This is Kay McDonald with the Power of Charms. And we love to interview interesting people doing things that have impact. And I've got a really fun guest today. I'm so excited. Her name is Julia Winter. And she lives in Phoenix with me. And Julia has a jewelry company and she blends fashion and compassion in many, many ways. And she's also a social entrepreneur and a really savvy gal. Julia, you just celebrated 20 years of being in business.
I did.
That's so
Very hard
good.
to believe.
Yes. That's just such a milestone, and I'm so proud of you. And I think we met right around the time that you started. I started a year later than you did. And I think it's interesting because you came from a tech background, like IBM.
Yes, worked for IBM and for Xerox.
And for Xerox. Okay, so what on earth got you started in the jewelry business? How did you get started? And then tell us how you came up with your cute name too.
Well, first I would say, Kay, when I started, you were one of the businesses and people that I held up because I knew of you and your previous partnership and how successful and trailblazing you guys were. So I'm honored to have been able to be friends with you, learn from you, and then how great to be interviewed 20 years that we're both in this. So fun. So I loved my career in technology, but I was always traveling, and no matter what position I took, it would become more and more travel. And so my husband and I were, starting a family and realized that I needed to figure out for the next stage of my career something that would be more flexible. And that was really the number one thing for me. And I started working with a life coach. Her name is Catherine Ross. And she really helped me think about what could I do by myself if I needed to get started, and then be able to scale it. So you had a really easy entrance in. And jewelry was what I was learning how to do, already knew how to do in many ways. And I love selling. So I thought, I have a great background in customer service and running a business. So while I was having my second child, my son, I decided to just give it a whirl and see what would happen. And it kind of started taking off.
It took off. So basically, what is the premise of your jewelry line? Like, what materials do you like to use? What's your kind of feel and look?
So I would say two things are really critical to my line. It's working with high quality, fine metals, really good, strong materials that are going to endure and last.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly, it's the design concept that everything is a building block. So, if you look at the different areas of jewelry, you have necklaces, earrings, bracelets. I don't dabble in rings, so I kind of stick to those three areas. But everything can have a base, and you can create pieces and ways to wear those designs that are unique almost each time. And that's really how I founded my business. Work with materials that are going to last. So if somebody buys something from you in 10 years, if they still like the style, they can still wear it. Mm-hmm. And then provide them building blocks so that piece that they bought 10 years ago still has a use, can be layered, can be worn a different way. So those two core premises are really kind of how I founded Julia.
I love it. Well, and I love you do very innovative posts and stories and things about how to stack things and how to layer things, which really individualizes it. I actually have some bracelets on right now. I think these beaded bracelets are really, really popular right now in your line, aren't they? Gold and silver. And so I actually added some charity charms to them.
Yes, no, and I love that because one of the other things I always say is Julia plays well with others.
Yes.
Just like with clothing, right? None of us wear one brand. Even if we're crazy about a brand, we always have a lot of other things we wear with it. Well, as you know, like what makes a line successful is that it's going to go with someone's look. And I just think that's so critical.
Yeah. Oh, it really is. It really is. And then I love the name of your company. Tell me how, it's always fun to hear the story of how that came about.
So this is kind of a funny one because my husband is an attorney and you wouldn't describe him as creative, but he was kind enough to take my paperwork down to the city and the state to get registered. And every name that I had picked was taken or too close to somebody else's name. So he called me and I was on a conference call for my day job at the time. And he said, how about Jewel? Yeah. Otherwise, you have to come down here and stand here. And I'm like, no, this is great. And I love it. It's kitschy, it's fun, and it's unique. So it turned out to be just a great accidental happening.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, it's just really one. So yeah, so that's fun. And it always I think is a way to engage people too when you have a fun and catchy name or a descriptive name. So tell me, when you started out making jewelry, you had already been doing it a little bit, so you had a background in it. And then how did you like launch your business? Did you do wholesale? Did you do retail right away? Did you do special events?
So first thing I did was I took out $400 from the bank and I drove to the Tucson Gem Show. And that's kind of where, once I had already been making some stuff, I thought, I really need to get some things and put together a line that I can show. So I did that. And I held some trunk shows in my dining rooms and at friends' homes. And I went down the wholesale path very quickly because I knew that that was the only way I was going to gain credibility. At the time, and I know it still happens, everybody would say like, oh, my neighbor makes this, or my friend goes to Michael's or wherever,
Right.
and they make jewelry too.
Everybody makes
And
jewelry.
so you had to, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to become legitimate. And knowing the best way to do that would be to go find wholesale customers. So I went after the resort, and that sort of channel, and found that to be very successful because they always had new guests and people. So I could go do events with them as well as sell to their stores. And so I started that along with doing home shows. And both of those together were a nice blend of different channels.
Right. And then you have a very strong retail presence now, right? When did that kind of develop?
Well, I would say like they can kind of developed at the same time, but getting my own studio where people could set up an appointment and come also really allowed me to have more shopping experiences where people weren't always coming to my house. And if you didn't know me, maybe you didn't feel comfortable with that. So the online and studio shopping really helped with that.
And when did you do that? Was that about 5 years ago? Or?
So my studio was 5 years ago, but I actually started my website in 2014.
Okay. Okay. So, and then along with that, I know that you've done some wonderful work in our community with your philanthropic heart. Tell us about some of the projects that you've done. Like a fresh.
Well,
and
yeah, like you, connecting to charities and causes. I mean, I'm drawn to do that as an individual, and I was already doing that. But I found my jewelry could be a way that I could support and maybe help raise more funds or awareness. So originally I would go do events, give back events where we'd, whether it be me or several different vendor friends that I would invite, and we would set up a shopping experience and then donate a portion of the proceeds. And from that also came opportunities, though, to create unique pieces where maybe the charity would resell them and have something unique that had their brand on it, but yet still showed their style and everything. So that is exactly what you have done so successfully. So I was able to do some of those make those pieces as well as continue to do give back events. But with my 20th anniversary, I did something where I took it up a notch. I chose two of the charities who I had extra special connections with over the last 20 years, whether it was working together or also the causes they both support and help women get their lives back. Fresh Start Women's Foundation and Mother's Grace. I created, working with them, we created different bracelets, 6 different styles that people could buy and choose based where they wanted to donate a portion of the proceeds from those bracelets. And that was a really fun way to celebrate 20 years.
Yeah, no, I really I loved watching that campaign develop, and I'm absolutely sure it was probably very successful for everybody. I just think it's so wonderful to have a company where you can not only just sell products, but make an impact. You know, it's like supporting a cause. And yes, you have to have the component where it's just for profit, but it's so important to have that give back component in some way. I think every company really should do that. And I think most companies these days do, but gosh, 20 years when we started, it wasn't really.
Right. And I'm sure you feel this way too, Kay. Like it makes work so much more fun. And it also enhances the connections. You meet people that you might never meet because of the cause connection. And I have loved that.
Yeah, no, I agree. We are kindred spirits, definitely in that arena. Hey, what do you see for trends? We have a new year coming up. Is there any new trend that you might be focusing on?
Well, I continue to see toggle necklaces, shorter chains and stuff really being part of the trend. But what I'm hearing so much about is silver, and that everyone is bringing silver back. And, you know, there was a time when we thought we'd never see yellow gold again. Everyone had gone silver and platinum, and we all had our wedding rings redone and all of our fun jewelry. It all had to be silver. And then now we're all gold. And it's headed back to silver.
Oh, well, that makes me happy because I'm a silver girl. I actually have drawers of silver, so that's I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. Hey,
it's a beautiful metal.
Yeah, it's great. I wanted to ask you, you do some very unique things with marketing, and you have one thing that's really unique is called Sunday Share. Can you tell us about that?
Okay, so Sunday Share is what we do socially, where every week on Sunday, we want to share about a woman who is doing something new or unique in the community. Maybe she has a new job and it's exciting to help get the word out. Maybe she has a cause and she's doing a fundraiser and wants other people to know about it. Maybe she just is battling cancer and is looking for an extra support. It can really be anything. It's about recognizing what's going on for a person and then helping to share and encourage them and really maybe give other women ideas. I think at this stage and in many of my friends' lives, they're thinking about, hey, what's next for me? And sometimes when you see that a person just stepped out and now is transitioning to an entirely different career or is going back to work, never worked a day in her life. When you see people stepping out and doing those things, it gives you encouragement. So the Sunday Share has been just the most fun and has introduced us to a lot of different women. But then during the summer, we switch it up and we switch to college and high school graduates. So young women who are graduating and going on to the next stage in their life. And it's fun to celebrate them and just share where they went to school, what they're planning to do next, maybe if they have a fun, unique, kitschy thing about themselves. But just love to kind of celebrate those moments.
Oh, that's neat. And I'm sure it's inspiring to those young women too, to see you and how you started your own business, because everybody wants to be an entrepreneur now. And so you can be a role model, as well as sharing their stories. And, you know, I think just as far as having a business and having a brand, you have to develop your own personality. And by doing Sunday Share, you really have, expanded the Julia personality and Julia's story as well. So kudos to you for that. And I think it's just great. I've enjoyed doing the interview series in my business because I'm able to learn a lot about my clients and just interesting people. And yes, jewelry's fabulous. Charms are fabulous, but there's a lot more to be talked about, right?
There is, and there's just so much that comes up, in an interview and getting to know people like that. And, now our world is so communicating like this is how many of us are getting our information and sometimes social interaction. So having it be positive and with other people that are doing neat things in the community. Like I love your maker series and that your interviews and stuff. And I remember when you launched your book and everything, you're kind of always out there on engaging and involving others.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm always trying something new. You never know what's around the corner. I'm a Gemini, so it's tiny. Anyway, well, I've really enjoyed talking to you. I know that you are busy right now. It's the middle of the holidays. This interview is on December 4th, so I appreciate you taking the time
Oh gosh, honored.
to share with me. And is there anything else that you want to tell our audience that perhaps we haven't touched on?
Well, I'm definitely excited for 2024 and kind of what that holds for us with fashion trends, as well as it's just going to be a very interesting year ahead. I can't think of anything definitely too different coming up, but very excited.
Yeah, there's going to be good growth, and hopefully you and I can collaborate on a few things. We've touched on that. That could be kind of fun to do. I love
I think
collaborating.
that's definitely what helps make the world go round, and it's fun to do that with, we both have very complementary styles, so I can see lots of goodness coming from that, Kay.
Yeah. And then one more thing I wanted to mention is that you have started an affiliate program, and we have signed up to be your affiliate. Again, collaborating. Yay! But we figured as long as we're interviewing you, we're going to be putting a special section on our website of kindred jewelry companies that give back, so that people can find retail sources, because we don't really offer retail. So that's another part of our business. And you're our first one that we're interviewing for that. So yay.
Yay. I love that. And I really appreciate you. I know that, Kay, that you're very specific about how you work, who you work with and stuff. So I'm glad to be in your group.
Yeah, you're in my inner circle there, Julia, and I'm very, very proud and happy to have you as a friend as well. And I'm so proud of you and all of your accomplishments. Kudos again on 20 years. That's just fantastic. And we'll all stay in touch and look forward to, but you might want to go, not might, you do want to go to Julia's site and do some fabulous shopping. She's got wonderful items, and everybody needs something personalized for the holidays. So
absolutely. Yes. Please come check us out on Instagram, Facebook. We are getting started on TikTok as well. A little bit slow, but learning. And yes, please check out our site.
Okay. Well, happy holidays to everybody. And again, thanks for the interview, Julia. Great to connect.
Thank you, Kay.
Take care. Bye-bye.